Hi everyone, today we have the new Axial AX24. This is a 124 scale version of Axial's old AX10 rock crawler, which was one of the earliest renditions of a kit-ready or RTR-ready rock crawler. So it's pretty significant in both Axial's history and rock crawler history in general. Before then, a lot of people were doing just custom builds using cloudbuster axles and stuff like that. But it's really cool of Axial to take advantage of the boom of the 124th scale crawler line and release this AX24. So me personally, I've been very excited for this vehicle. I even bought some upgrades that are available as of release. So I will be checking those out later. So to start off, my first impressions, I already know that the suspension is going to be very loose, and that's the first thing I really want to change about it. You can see how much it shakes even just in the box. So we're definitely going to have to do something about that. I'll just give you a quick look around the box. Nothing too special going around here. So we'll get this opened up and see what comes inside. So here we have the truck out of the box, but before we talk about the truck, let me go over quickly some stuff that it comes with. The USB charger, which is fine, I guess. On the original releases of the SCX24, some people had issues with it burning up your battery or something. I probably won't be using this USB charger for very long because I will probably be switching over to the red JST plug just to kind of stay more consistent with some of my other crawlers. But that is included. It includes, I believe this is a 1mm Allen wrench because the hardware on the AX24 and the SCX24 use slightly smaller heads than on typical RC cars. So either get a better wrench or don't lose this one because you will need it to work on the truck. Come with the bind plug, an Axial sticker, though it's a paper sticker, so I wouldn't recommend it for outdoors or for your car or anything. And it includes a full 10 scale radio. This is the SLT3, so it's the 3-channel with the toggle switch. And that is, of course, for the 4-wheel steer. And this is a pretty decent radio. It comes with a lot of higher-end Horizon Hobby products and like Arma products and stuff like that. So already a pretty nice radio. No real qualms about it, though for a mini crawler, I do kind of prefer having like these smaller radios just because it makes it a little bit more portable, but I guess it's what they had for a 3-channel, so it's fine. So the first thing people are probably going to want to know about it is how big it is. So we'll start off with a size comparison. Here we have the AX24. First of all, the axles on it are the exact same axle, I believe, as on the SCX24, so the width is probably going to be about the same there. But here we have a Kyosho Mini Z Wrangler. The small crawler body does make it look a little bit smaller than a SCX24, but it is actually about the same size. Here we have an Element Enduro, which would be probably closer to the size of an SCX24. So you can see kind of the size difference there. You can see the tires on this are much larger than on the 24th scale trail trucks, naturally. Another quick comparison with the Charisma. RC 4-wheel drive. And last but not least, the new Traxxas TRX4M. Sorry about my cat moaning in the background. He's kind of looking for attention. But yeah, hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea of the size comparison. I'm gonna go over some stuff I like and dislike. So you can see the vehicle is on, and of course it has the rock lights on it, which is a nice way to implement the LED lights on a vehicle that does not have bumpers, and the rock lights are actually functional in this application, so that's very nice. The body itself is also nicely molded and decently thick and stiff where it needs to be. I was kind of concerned that this front area here would kind of flop around, but the hood scoop and the slight curvature of the sides here kind of act like bracing, so this doesn't flop around too much. The tires are also very, very aggressive and pretty large. You kind of saw with the size comparison there just how large these tires are. So I have high hopes for these tires. No foams in them, but they are nice and soft and should grip over obstacles pretty easily. The other thing I really like is the responsiveness of the servos. So very, very responsive. Nice to see. I know the AS1 servos had problems with torque, so we'll have to see how well they do torque-wise. You can see it's already kind of struggling there. But response-wise, they do seem pretty quick, so that is at least nice to see. The overall stance of the vehicle is also very nice. The Axial and a lot of cheaper crawlers have a bad habit of setting up their trucks very high like this, which not only make it look pretty dumb but also ruins performance. So it's nice to see it's already kind of set up in mostly a droop setup and with very little down travel but a lot of droop. So I'm pretty happy about that. Also, the implementation of the worm gear axles, just like on the AX24, I believe they are literally the same axles. That's something that's good to see because that allows for a very, very small pumpkin and very thin axles, which is only competed by the Kyosho Mini Z. Every other ring and pinion crawler tends to have very thick axles and very large pumpkins. So the worm gear setup avoids that issue, as well as allowing for a natural drag brake because the worm gears aren't going to want to roll by themselves, and allow for lots of torque and pretty smooth operation. Now to go over some stuff that I would like to change. So there's quite a bit I would like to change on this truck. First, like I mentioned, even though the servos are pretty responsive, they do seem like they're kind of low on torque, especially with these really sticky tires. So servos is something I'm probably going to end up upgrading. And the biggest problem out of the box, in my opinion, is of course the shocks themselves. They're very, very loose. And not only does it make it torque twist when it's driving around, it also tends to bounce around a lot, which makes it look kind of stupid. So you can see just how much that bounces around and how it kind of twists every time you try to go in a straight line. So shocks definitely need some work. The other thing I don't really like is the use of Velcro to mount the body. I understand that it eliminates the need for body pins, but for this application I would honestly not mind body pins. I really don't like Velcro, mainly because sometimes they're really annoying to pull on and off, and mostly because it makes it kind of annoying to line up the body. So if you just kind of simply mash it in like that, it's not always completely centered. The use of the hinge kind of helps with it, but it is still possible to get this smashed down and then the body's completely off center. So that's just a personal pet peeve of mine. I'm not a really big fan of Velcro mounts. And then with the design of the chassis, with the TVP style chassis, you're kind of forced to go with a pretty high center of gravity design, mounting all your electronics up high and your battery up high. And it's just how it is with the design. So that's something else that I will need to kind of look at and try to get more weight down low and away from mounting such large electronics up top. Large in relation to the vehicle. Another thing that's kind of disappointing is with a RC crawler, the level of throttle resolution is a little bit disappointing. So going as slow as I can possibly go. You can see it's pretty jumpy, and the overall speed is pretty quick. Whereas on the Charisma crawler, which is a cheaper vehicle than the AX24, mostly because it only has a single steering servo, but nevertheless you can see how high the resolution is on the CSC. I can go basically as slow as I want with the CSC, and this is literally just out of the box how it comes. Compared to this. That being said, it is still smoother thanks to the worm gears than the Element, which is also pretty quick and pretty jumpy as well. But the Element costs $90 something, whereas the AX24 costs $160, $170. So it is a little bit more forgivable on the Element compared to the Axial. But with all that said, let's get some impressions of how this little crawler actually runs. So looking at the truck here, I really don't like how far the body leans over every time you apply the throttle. But the large and sticky tires are making quick work of these Lego obstacles. So taking a look at the Element Enduro 24 in comparison, here over this first obstacle, the Axial obviously had a lot more clearance thanks to its skinnier axles and much larger tires, which made lining up for this next section much easier on the Axial. The Axial also had much tighter steering, even with just the front steer, which makes it much easier to line up to these obstacles. Where the Axial kind of struggles though is over hill climbs. So I'll just simply flip over like that because of the high center of gravity nature of the AX24. Giving it another try. Try coming at it from a little bit more of an angle. whereas the element in comparison just makes it look easy. As you saw, there are major pros and cons to the design of the AX24. You saw on obstacles, the axles and the tires of the AX24 allowed it to go over those obstacles much easier compared to the Enduro 24. But on like steep inclines or hill climbs and stuff like that, it does tend to kind of suffer because of the high center of gravity design of this overall platform. So the center of gravity is probably the number one thing you're probably going to want to address on the AX24, which thankfully can be achieved with some of the hop-ups they give you, carbon fiber plates, but most of these brass upgrades, so like the brass steering here, which I'll put in the front, brass skid plate. You can also get brass diff covers, all sorts of other brass parts. And once you do that, and also once we stabilize the suspension, I believe this thing's going to become an absolute weapon on the obstacle course and the crawler course. I will get this thing run on an actual crawler course at the local hobby shop at some point, but for now, that is my first impressions. So it looks like this servo saver kind of loosened up a little bit, but anyway. But yeah, that's my first impressions of the Axial AX24. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, found it entertaining or informative, and as always, I hope everyone has a great day and have fun with RC.